you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hearer of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister A.H.A.D, and with me as always, we have our roundtable panel, Brother Fat Kill Abdulaziz, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, and Holy Queen Mother Rabbi Saleem. May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within about everyone's presence.
May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within about your presence.
And may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within about the presence of those who watch our program, you A.H.A.D believers. One thing that the Lord Most High has done for us this day is brought down so much truth and in the form of his wisdom that it gives forth through this message of Lord Holy-Apostle Deen. One thing we're going to discuss tonight concerning, or how many people have you thought about where will you stand at before on the day of judgment, or the life after here before the great throne of the majestic Lord? And many people of all religious paths all say they are believers in the Lord Most High, that they've all been promised the paradise, or they believe they are of different faiths and say they know they're going to go to heaven or paradise. But we want you to sit back on this program particularly because it's something to really think about. Those who think they have the right intentions or the right beliefs or they do enough good deeds and so on, that they will make it on from this life into the next before the throne and pass on to either the paradise or to the Lord's hell. With that being said, anybody want to join in? Because I know since Holy Apostle wrote a newsletter a while ago, it's been a heavy subject and it's been on my mind, seriously since,
Yes, Idris, Lord Holy-Apostle, my experience in looking at that same piece. The first question, looking at the title of it, was in my mind, were the people going to come to realize and believe for real that the throne of Ahezaah, Allahu Amin Ra, the Supreme Lord of all worlds, that throne does exist. Yeah. And they're truly going to have to come to face in this. And it's always my reaction that once the people go through the transition of this life, however they go out, and then find out that is continuing, that it's not stopping. So, they're going to face this, however they're going to face this judgment, they're going to be in the awareness of facing the judgment. A great happening, a great shocking happening, that's the first thing, but the newsletter got even heavier. Got even heavier.
It was something, how Ahezaah brings you into the awareness. If you're looking for truth, Ahezaah gives you truth and make things so simple. I know growing up, we looked at heaven and hell, but every time you went to a funeral, no matter what the person did in life, the preacher and whoever would speak would always speak, and was confident that the person was going to heaven, because they done passed on. But one thing I came to realize that heaven and hell starts when you are giving birth in this life as well. We think things are so far away from what's right up close and personal. And Lord Holy-Apostle explained to us, to start trying to understand heaven and hell, and don't look at heaven as being somewhere up and somewhere down, but look at heaven and hell is the way that you live your life. Heaven and hell starts right here on this plane, so how you live on this plane automatically gives you, if you're a truthful person, you already know which way you're going when you go on to the next stage. You understand? So it was, a rude awakening to me to find out that things that seem so far away from us, like people say, oh, Lord, forgive me, I'm gonna try to get this right tomorrow. It's so up and close and personal, and every moment is tomorrow, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? It's like that time thing that we have, that we use to psych ourselves out, really don't exist, And so we're constantly determining the next step in our lives. And it's from either striving and sincerity and surrendering to Ahezaah's will, whatever it may be, or rejecting that.
There's a few things, because I don't recall the newsletter.
I know.
Yeah, There's a few things. First of all, like you said when you was going to the funerals, the ministers or the preachers or the priests or whomever always made like the person was going to heaven. A beautiful thing that Ahezaah gave me not long ago is that everybody goes to heaven, but everybody don't go to paradise,
Right.
and everybody don't go to hell. You see, heaven is this place where the throne is at. So yes, everybody go to heaven. Now, that takes me to the next phase. You ask a religious person, you ask a preacher, do you believe in the Lord?
Right.
You know, let's get beyond Jesus. Do you believe in the Lord Most High? Yes. Do you believe in the devil? No. Well, how could you believe in the Lord?
Right.
If you don't believe in the existence of the devil, because when we say believe in the Lord, we're talking about believe in the Lord in every way. When we talking about believing in the devil, we talking about believing in the devil in every way, the concept of the devil that the Lord itself has given us about this devil.
Right.
You must believe in the devil to understand what the path of the way in religion is all about. Now, you go to these same churches and they never preach about this devil.
Yeah.
Some of them standing up there being the devil. You understand? Some of the brothers and sisters in the mosque bowing down next to the devil. Some of them praising the devil, acting as though they praising Allah. You see? So you have to get into the proper concept or on the proper path of thinking about this whole concept of religion in order for you to understand or draw near to the right mind about heaven and hell, about judgment, about the devil. You see? Because how many people accept that they have a devil inside of them?
Not many.
How many ministers would accept if you said, well, you know, I hear you talking, but I hear the devil talking too? How many ministers would not get insulted and angry? You see what I'm saying? Who is representing the Lord El and who representing the devil? If you sit up there and just take everything they say verbatim without going out researching yourself under the commands of the Lord El to find it within yourself. If you just taking everything they saying and walking without trying to be guided by the all-wise being.
Right.
Because this is what people do. The great masses of the world are being led astray today, falling because the great masses is listening to a few people.
Right.
And when someone such as myself come on the scene, you have certain people amongst the jinn, amongst the ruling bodies, you know, the elite powerful men who want to slay us because we're talking about the absolute truth. We're talking about El. We're talking about the absolute reality. We're talking about you coming into the freedom of it, the free realm of it, where your mind will be freed up to it, where you will come to understand your very reasoning for even existing. You feel where I'm coming from?
sir.
So if you don't, if these preachers or if these ministers, imams or whatever don't enlighten you about what the devil actually is, then how can they be guides? Should we pray with them?
Right.
And why should we say we are of them? We believe as they believe. You know, now, question. How many of them understand the reality of the devil? How many of them understand the concept of the devil? If they have gone against the holy books and they don't go and research all the books that came before it and that which was to come behind it, if they have no concept of any messengers from the Lord coming behind all the prophets of old, then they serving the devil already. I know I didn't caught you out there.
We've talked on the show about investigating, getting the people to come out and investigate, go out and go within and investigate. We're talking about not just the holy books of the holy books of different paths that they haven't encountered, but the self-investigation themselves to tap into.
One of the problems with that, like we could tell the people that You know, but one of the problems they have is that we're not telling them how to get to the self. See, when we start talking about going to the self, you got brothers and sisters out there running around to my, they deluded, he's deluded. You hear what he's saying? Mm-hmm. You need to know Arabic for the angels to hear you. You need to know Arabic. You need to pray in Arabic. You need to do this. You need to do that. Blah, 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 blah. And they leading the people astray. When the Lord itself says, I am the glory of all worlds. I am the glory of everything. Glory is mine. Huh? So now I got to glorify Arabic for the glory to hear me?
Right.
Whatever language it has given me, it's glorified in that.
Right.
Because it gave it to me. I didn't give it to myself, so I glorify it in what it gives me to understand. No matter what language I'm speaking, it gave it to me. Just like these eyebrows I got. I didn't design these. It gave it to me. And I look at that and I praise it, not me. Because one day it's going to take these back. You see? So we have to have the right concept of how to get to ourselves. Now, the Lord has sent messengers who've been slaved by many people throughout generations of mankind, but they've gotten their messages out here. The Lord's message about how to get back to it. If you don't investigate Taoism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, if you don't investigate everything, all the spirituality, if you don't go and look at every crack and crevice, cranny or whatever, right? If you don't, then you're losing something.
Right.
Because see, the last book that the Lord Most High sent to us before this book that we get now.
Right.
And I'm not talking about some fake book like what Mr. Farrakhan was talking about. I'm talking about the real book. Yeah. The book of the seventh seal that I have in my possession.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The last book, the Holy Quran, before this book, said that Allah said, I am, or this is the criterion, meaning this is the balance.
Right.
This determines what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
Of the books that came before it and that which is to come behind it. What could possibly be wrong with the books that came before it? What man has touched in those books and transformed, transfigured, dismantled, broke down.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Right.
And if you trust that, then you trust the law, the unseen, and you look to hear it more than you look for it to hear you.
Right.
You look to hear it, and then it speak to you or sends the angels to speak to you, to speak in you. And you start understanding the concept of the many beings inside of yourself, which makes you an inwardly divided person, which a lot of beings inwardly divided, causing you to be an individual.
Right.
Then you won't think you're insane when you start hearing voices giving you righteous guidance. Huh? Then you come to the proper thought, the proper way to understand that this book, the living word of the Lord in the Holy Quran, even is a criterion of itself. Because no matter what man do to falsely translate it, them lions, thieves, I want to call them a lot of names. They can't mistranslate Allah itself.
Right.
They can't force Allah, their translation on Allah. Like they may force their translation on other people who are ignorant and foolish enough to look past them thinking the devil is somewhere else.
Right.
Huh? How many people frown on us because I say the Holy Quran has been mistranslated in many ways, and Allah is angry with the translators of it. You got a bunch of lying devils leading Islam, leading you into capitalism, leading you into all ways of the world and thoughts of the world so they can control you.
Right.
They want to take you away from the thought of the devil having individuality even in you. So you'll look elsewhere while they do the devil's work to control you. They're no better and no worse than the capitalist jinn in this society.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? And they put that on you. Give you talk about he spooked out, but they give you the hocus pocus. Them brothers was sisters walking around with hocus pocus, he spooked out, he deluded, and they walking around shot out. The Islam don't go no further, or their religion, Christianity don't go no further than their clothes, no further than the spirit they in when they go to the holy houses of worship.
Right.
You see, so we have to, in order to come to the proper understanding about these things, we have to get in line first with what the Lord sent down, and it's sent down in so many of his books and to so many of his prophets through so many of the years and generations of different people and different histories. If we trust the Lord Most High
Right.
more than we trust our own minds, then it will guide us. We don't have to worry about being guided astray. We have to first believe that it is here, now, present, unseen, for us to bow down and be in worship to it all the time. I'm not talking about 5 times a day.
Right.
Forget any 5 times a day. How many seconds can you count in a day? Them many times a day. Continuously be in prayer to Allah. And I'm not talking about spooked out and freaked out on your prayer carpet or in the street somewhere trying to show somebody, putting big black calluses on your head and what have you to show that you've been bowing down. Where your callus at anyway? Where your callus? I ain't got one. Allah says, do not worship to be seen of man.
Right.
And you got people walking around here with big giant calluses on their forehead, and people say, oh, you know that brother, he writing his deen, man. Do you see that? Oh, man, you know he praying.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go to pray and fall asleep on your carpet. Do that every day, and you go get a big callus.
That strikes me because Lord, you said you didn't remember the newsletter, right?
But he seemed like
You said you didn't
quoted
remember
that
the
newsletter.
newsletter. But here he is, you quote.
Am I?
Yes, very well.
Well, you have to, the people
Mr.
need
Real.
to understand that the newsletter wasn't written by me anyway.
Right.
Newsletter was written by Allah, but I have to say that quietly because you might have a whole generation of people out there. Oh, stop Allah! Did you hear what he said? It wasn't written by him. Who wrote it? What he trying to say? Trying to say Allah wrote it? Yup. Trying to say Allah wrote it.
Same thing.
They say they feel about
Same-
Jesus. They
yeah,
say
same
he
thing
think he the Lord
that
Most High
Muhammad
now.
said.
About Jesus, all of them, you know.
But now they call him Lord.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
One thing that people have to realize is the devil is so slick.
Oh, the devil is working, constantly working so hard, and please don't lose that thought. But something just came up on my head. I know I be doing that. People, y'all got to forgive me because I got I got infinity, man, going on inside of my head, you know. But the thing about it is that I look at the people whom Allah called. Allah said in the book of Malachi that it would come and it would bring forth the chosen people. It would, grab those people through Elijah. And we've had people who come through Elijah Muhammad been preaching this since 1935 or whenever. Right now we got one of the so-called greatest leaders of the nation of Islam, turning people from Allah to Jesus, and from Islam to some other form of Christianity, slickanity or whatever. I don't know what Farrakhan is trying to do, but he's all confused. The devil in him is being shown more and more each day. Now, all those people who are super brainwashed by him, they can't see it because, like I said, they just take what these people say and they don't investigate and think things through themselves. Okay, our people, Allah called our people, not Elijah.
Right.
Allah called our people to become chosen. There's a worldwide international conspiracy against the African Americans in the United States of America, and it has always been. There has been a conspiracy against the return of Samuel the prophet, who was myself. They can talk about every prophet in the Bible, but they never talk about Samuel. They got something good to say about everybody. They don't even mention his name. They don't want nobody to even think about Samuel. Then they went and turned and try to transform what was said in the book of Revelation about Samuel and try to make like they was talking about Jesus.
Right.
So that's a conspiracy. You feel where I'm coming from? And they done brought this conspiracy all the way here, and they doing all they can. And I'm going to tell you something. People might think I'm out of my mind. They might not want to believe it. But just like Elijah, what Allah did through Elijah and caused the civil rights movement to grow because they said, we got to choose one. That's why they got that black president up there right now, because they want the people to not think about the reality of Allah, the reality of our men, Ahezaah, being here today in this day of revelation where the signs of the destruction is becoming more clear, the destruction of this nation being taken down, more clear every day. They want you to look to a president that just 40 years ago, he would have been assassinated if they thought he was getting close to becoming a president.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
They opened a gateway for him. Just like they opened a gateway for all these fools who cannot think. A lot of these so-called genius rap artists and genius movie producers from our people who are giving, they're going to do everything they can. They're going to give more and more and more to keep you away from Allah, to keep your mind away from Ahezaah, Amen, away from the Christ, the true Christ, to keep you away from the concept and your vision about what's really going on today. Because Allah ain't no fake. The people gonna find out that Allah is, that Ahezaah, Amen, is real, that this day of destruction is real. They're gonna be in soup lines before they know it. The whole world is being crushed as we sit here right now. I'm not talking about just the United States of America, I'm talking about the world. And they trying to get prepared. See, the jinn, the devil believes in Allah. Why do you think they run around here worrying about 2012?
Right.
In the Holy Quran, it speaks about that when the moon is cleft asunder, and when the earth is turned inside out, and when that foreign object is coming to hit earth. Look in your Quran, it's talked about that, and then they just keep saying, oh, well, the Mayans prophesied about this, that, and that. So did Prophet Muhammad.
Right. It wasn't just the minds. All the holy prophecies have been coming to the same conclusion.
The same point.
But what I want to point out is that, like these brothers be saying, oh, you can't translate the Quran in English and this, that.
Right.
Liars. It's told right there.
Yeah.
How much is not being told because these brothers said, well, you can't do it. Every time they don't want to translate something, they say, oh, it can't be translated in English. You know, but I say whatever they have there can be said about it here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a chair is a chair is a chair. They say a rose is a rose by any other name. It's still a rose.
Right.
That's right.
You know, now I apologize because I know I didn't. Her thoughts is probably like going like that. You still got it?
No, but I
apologize.
no, that's okay
Talking about
because
the devil.
Allah gave me something this week, and it comes kind of in line with what you're saying. And I know a lot of people really can't find it difficult to accept what we're saying, but you know, just breaking it down to you, maybe what we would call layman's term.
Right.
If you don't believe that there's a conspiracy on us as a people, just look closely at this here. They give us the word forgiveness. When you use the word forgiveness, you feel a certain way. When someone say, please forgive me, you feel a certain way. If someone was to say, please pardon me, you will feel a different way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Now, let me just show you the trick. They have force-fed us this forgiveness word. And if we bring up slavery, they say, oh, you still holding on to that. Now, it's not the Caucasian people. Because, see, the Caucasian people, they instituted them into our schools so they would never have to teach slavery to our children. But they now have what we set up the situation where they want us to feel bad if we bring up slavery.
Or a nigga.
Or a nigga. But I want y'all to look deeply at slavery. Now, the Caucasian don't forgive no one for anything.
Nothing.
That's why we have this war with Iraq. That was between Bush and
his father.
Saddam. That had nothing to do with us. Caucasian people are not forgiving. That's why they can send OJ to jail. Caucasians don't forgive.
Yeah.
If you look closely at but you as our people want us to forgive. No, we pardon them. But if you look at what they did closely, they took people, human beings that eat, sleep, make love, have children, enjoy family, build and everything just like them. And they sold them. They took away their rights. And they sold them for a price and treated them like
lower animals.
Like low animals.
Yeah.
Not for 5 years, but for 500 plus years. Because they still got that slave mentality. And they want you to forgive them, and you get mad at us because we don't want to forget.
Yeah.
We could pardon. We ain't got no other choice but to pardon. But it is my right not to take that and forgive you.
Yeah.
I could forgive you if I could see that you're not trying to create injustice against me now.
Right.
But how can I forgive you when I know that you will still do me wrong, and if things go your way, you will sell me again?
Right.
So
Go ahead,
how
Mama.
can you tell me that?
Go ahead.
So you of our people that want us to forgive and forget because they have given the fools of our people money. And now it's 10% of us in this country, and you have give 0.0001% money to live in a few of your neighborhoods, because we don't live in all their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And then
And you give
promote
us
them.
You give us jobs, and you let us go get credit, and you let us get cars, and you want us to think you're going to treat us right. Let's look at it. Let's look at the big picture. You never asked us to forgive you anyway. You never did the right things by the acres of land and the mule.
Right.
Now you won't give us this money that you made sure that the people in Germany gave to the Jews.
Right.
So now here's the trap.
And they paid the jack.
Here's the trap. So I understand why Ahezaah has given us different languages from what we are accustomed to. It's that pardon the person.
Right.
Ahezaah tell us to pardon because in reality, I was looking at this thing because a lot of things transpired this week, and I'm just wanted to bring that to your life, but into your mindset to think about. But when you really look at something, when someone do you wrong, you may not really forgive them.
Right.
You may not forgive them. You may harbor that until you die. I'm not saying that you're going to react on your non-forgiveness, but something in you haven't let it go.
Well, you
And that's
talk
that
about
right.
me.
And that is determined between that individual and that Lord. Because if Ahezaah don't cause you to let it go, you can't. You may think you can. That's why it's best to try to change your language so that you don't become a prisoner to the language. You pardon a person and you ask Ahezaah, oh Father, if you see fit, bless me to forgive.
Can I add something to what you just said? She is so sharp. Praise be to Ahezaah. Ahezaah has surely, exalted her in her mind and her awareness. But my whole thing is, people try to act as though vengeance is wrong.
Yeah.
She used to always get on my case. You're vengeful. And, I couldn't see it. You're vengeful. I'm not vengeful. Yes, you are. And she told me that for over 20 years. You vengeful. You're this. I'm not vengeful. I'm so vengeful that I couldn't even see it because it's me.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? It's like you trying to tell me that my blood is blue, and I'm telling you, no, my blood is red. But in truth, my blood is blue like everybody else's. Inside, until oxygen hit it and turn it red. Now, the Lord is vengeful. And of course, I want to be like the Lord. I can't be the Lord itself, but I could take its examples. And me wanting to be like the Lord and being vengeful, I also want to be like the Lord and being righteous.
Right.
And I want to treat everybody as right as I could treat them. And I want them to honor me in my righteous being.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?